GetCrack. Wake up, motherfucker.
Yo, what's up? All right, quick late night stream for you guys. Well, it's just 7:17 for me on the West Coast, but it should be 10 for the East Coast. What I warned you yesterday, what I warned you, what I warned you. So I played that Samantha LeDuc video on silver, and guess what? It didn't stop bleeding overnight. Once the market opened, crashed. It just crashed. And I day traded it. I didn't do the overnight stuff. I mean, unless you do futures, I don't know, like, or you have like some Robinhood or a interactive brokers account that can do overnight. You can trade like silver, gold ETFs overnight, I think, on those two platforms. But and you could short them there or whatever overnight. But like you had to use futures. You had to use futures unless you shorted the day before and took the chance. Now you could have done that. So let's show the chart, okay? I'll tell you like how like you would look at it and took that shot of doing it because the way it moved yesterday when I talked about the chart there, the first candle was nasty and it kind of gave you some clue that the next day was going to be worse. But, you know, you don't have a crystal ball. This shit is all just gambling, right? Because if you do like quick trades like that, you're just assuming a lot of things. But the probability got higher that that was a good place to short. So this is what happened overnight, and then it was like the worst part of it was right after the opening bell on the New York Stock Exchange, and it just crashed even more. So the worst I think it got was about 35% on silver. That's like it beats the record of the 1980s when we had the biggest drops on silver and gold right there. Gold was like 13%. It beat its record too. So, all right. So let's say you wanted to short this stuff. Okay. So I would look at the gold miners or silver miners ETFs as an example. Gold miner basically tracks silver because mining companies, they when they mine for gold, they also will get some silver. And when the miners get happy, it's more than gold itself. So it's kind of a momentum play. And so it tracks silver movements very well. When silver and gold move up together, and silver, especially more than gold, this is why you heavily put money into gold and silver miners. And, when you have a good momentum, I use leverage this way. I use the GDXU. And I talked about this, why I use this in the last phase of this run. So this last phase from November up here was I just front loaded all the GDXU. And then I was saying once we got into New Year's, I want to sell, I want to sell, I want to sell. How would I decide when to sell? Okay? Now yesterday if you look at it, look at this candle here. Okay? So we're going to go look at the 78-minute chart. 78 minutes because I like to divide the day into 5 candles. And it's even 78 minutes. Okay. So it fills up the whole day. You have to remember the market opens at 9:30 Eastern. So it's 30 minutes plus like how many hours? So if you divide it out evenly, you have to get 78 minutes per candle. So I use this. You can use hourly too, but I've always done it this way now. I don't trust using hours because if you use like let's say you use Thinkorswim, you use TradingView, they all have different ways of how to count the hour. Some of them use like 9:30 to 10:30 as the first hour. Some just use the first 30 minutes and then start counting the hours. That's why I don't like it because depending on which charting program you use, you might get different looking candles. So I rather just like force it to do 78 minutes everywhere I go. So stock charts have 78-minute settings. I use 78-minute settings. You can use 65-minute settings, whatever, to do 6 candles. I like 5 candles. Okay. I just like seeing 5 of them. I don't want to see 6 of them. Okay. I digressed. All right. Let's go here. You see this candle? This is the worst opening candle yesterday. Okay, that that has been like I haven't seen anything worse than this except maybe late December when it gapped down, but I'll ignore this. Okay, if it gaps down an overnight, I'm gonna ignore it a little bit. I take this more seriously because that means it opened up. Okay, it opened flat or up, and then it just went all the way down during the day. If this thing happens during the day, it means that there's a lot more volume than overnight. Overnight has very little volume. It's easily manipulated. The Europeans do funny shit. Chinese, Japanese do funny shit. Who cares? If it gaps, it gaps. But when you see this during the US market hours like this, that means like everyone's trying to get out as quickly as possible because that's the highest level of liquidity is during the market open. That's why you see the big moves in Bitcoin happen during market hours now. Why? Because everything is run by the ETFs because they made so many Bitcoin, Ethereum ETFs now that the easiest way to get out of a position or get into a position is through the ETFs. I don't need to buy Bitcoin directly because if I have to buy Bitcoin or sell Bitcoin immediately, that means I have to go through Coinbase. Coinbase is like the largest broker, right? But how much liquidity can I get through Coinbase? Probably not a lot. I can move in and out of Bitcoin with huge chunks of money faster through the ETF way. So that's another thing. So the reason you would see a red candle like this yesterday is because somebody is like, get me the F out as quickly as possible. So you see this, and then it kind of recovers, right? You had some suckers buy this rally, okay? But you see it's weak, very weak. It's staying below the moving average here. The 18 is the purple one, 18 78-minute chart here. So 18 moving average, then you have the 40, and then this orange one is like I use that kind of like a 5-day moving average. So this orange one is actually doing 5-day moving average. Now, when you see this thing weaken below all these ones, right? So the only one it's above is the 40. So you kind of would be like, well, do I short overnight or not? Like you would have to make your choice. Like this thing is going to roll over. So given this candle, given the way it never got back above half of this, recover half of this way. So you would like every time you have a large candle like this, and you would just say roughly 50% of it. If you stay below 50% of it, there's a good chance it's going down again the next day. That's it. Because if you look at the MACD, no, it didn't drop below zero. The blue line didn't drop below zero. You see the ADX kind of increasing, but whatever. That I'm not going to mention those. Just look at the candle right here. This is enough of a warning. So that got me out of the rest of my GDXL. Now, I didn't short it. Okay, I said, whatever. I already got my money shorting Palantir and MicroStrategies. I'm not going to be greedy and say, like, I'm going to short this one too in hopes of today having a big red. Maybe I should have done that. But like I said, each of you guys have your own risk tolerance, right? Each of you guys have an idea of how much risk you want to take. To me, shorting is something special, like I'll do once in a while. And unless there's a trend, I'm not going to short more than a few days at most. Okay. I'm not that guy who goes like, oh, yeah, this thing is going to go down big. The only thing I did short for long periods of time was MicroStrategies last year. You see this? You see this? This move here was huge and it lasted for a couple months. So shorting Bitcoin through MicroStrategies was the best way because it is so much more crazier than Bitcoin itself. If Bitcoin starts losing momentum, this thing is beautiful short. And we might be headed towards another long leg because this thing could go from 150. If it tries to get back to 150 on Monday, I'll short it again. I'll short it again in hopes of getting it down to 100. And once it gets to 100, it might just break through and just go all the way down. If it's a really bad crash in both Bitcoin and the stock market combined, this will be great. So when you look at this one, you see this? This is a daily chart here. You look at this candle here, this big red one here. It went right through. It tried to recover and then it did red. You short again. and then you just keep holding, and keep adding. You could add too. Like here, it weighted. You could add more because if you look at the MACD here, all right, you see it tried to get up to 0. That's the best time to short. Whenever it tries to recover back up to 0, here, like I wanted to get closer to 0. That would have been a better short, but like fine. If it just struggles here and it'll roll over and go back down again. That means like you're screwed. You're screwed. Okay, so that's it. That's all I gotta say about that. Again, it has to be a really enticing short for me to hold a short position. Otherwise, I just get in and get out. I'm not playing games here. I'd rather be a long, right? But gold and silver shorting can be very profitable when you get the long leg down. Are we at the long leg down? That's the question, right? That's the question. I don't know. This could be the start, but it's not enough evidence so far because all we did was return back here to the moving average. Like I said, if it gets too far away from the moving average, it has to recover, right? This looks bad for sure. If this was a stock, this looks bad. But since this is silver, gold, it could be any commodity, coffee, uranium, lithium, sugar, corn. This is okay actually because like the trend is still intact, and because this is not because of earnings or something big, right? This is just because too many people were chasing it when it was going way off out of bounds, and then you got to return to the line. So here was like more stable, right? October it kind of did. I mean, these look big. These look like big candles if we go back here. Obviously, they look really small now because silver has gone up so big that this candle looks gigantic. But let's be real. If we go back here, these candles look pretty big. These two red candles were huge, and they stopped the momentum for about 1 month. This thing would probably stop momentum for several months if we're stuck here, because this means we'll start a range. That means silver will go zigzag, 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 flat for months on end until it can continue up. It could be like that. Okay, buy the dip or try to catch a knife. No, you can't catch a knife. You can't buy the dip. It's over. It's done. All it's going to do now is zigzag, zigzag. It's pointless. Like, if you wanted to play this, you should have played here because this was a more gradual pullback. This is outrageously bad. So you have to flush out all the idiots because now the idiots will keep trying to push it back up, fight each other. And I don't want to do that. That means day trading. That means all you can do with silver and gold right now is trade it every day if you want to, because the volatility is now increased to the point where you can trade every day on this until it stops going sideways and decides to crash more or go up, back up. That's it. That's all you can do. It's over. This was the easy money. So GDXU, ride this whole wave up, and then after that, we're over. We're done. We're done here. So come back later for silver and gold. What's more important is what's going to happen to oil, lithium, everything after that. Oil did not care what gold did. Perfect. This is what I want to see. What about all the other guys? Well, they got affected. Uranium, platinum, they all got hit. See, uranium, platinum. No, they all got hit because of silver. So, and copper too. Copper got whopped. Copper got whopped. So everything else except oil got hit. So look at oil now, wait for this thing to settle to decide what we want to do. Okay, with silver, all the other stuff, because they all got hit. What's up, Dalmatian? Okay, man. All right, I'm quick here. Finish that up. 16 minutes. Perfect. Okay, we're done. Let's move on. Let's go to the articles I didn't get to yesterday. Okay, let's do that. And then we can continue. Okay, one last thing though before we do that. Okay, it's good. Share the screen. La di da. Okay, good. Let's put up some music. Give me some background music. All right. Okay. So this one here, I'm just doing a ratio between silver and gold. Okay? If you remember, I talked about this several times already. The ratio of silver to gold is very important. So this thing measures the rate of change over a year, okay? The difference of a year with silver and gold. And this has been the most dramatic change in silver versus gold in all of till 1969. Okay, so last time silver outperformed gold this rapidly, the change of it, okay, the velocity of it was in 1974, 1979, 1987, 1998, 2011, 2020. So what happened in those years? What happened in those years? Big things happen in those years. So I don't know if you're old enough to remember what happened during those times. I wasn't born yet in 1974, all right? So that one, my parents were probably still in Vietnam. Okay, 1974. What was it? Was it the Iran kidnapping stuff? I know Nixon was gonna get his ass kicked out, right? Watergate. What other things happened? Did the embargo start yet? The oil embargo? Anyway, lots of things were happening. I think so. So something like that. I think 1979, 1974, there was a lot of stuff happening, right? All those things were happening around that decade. 70s were a crazy time. So you guys can probably look it up. Anyhow, these things all created big demand for silver and gold. And in the 1980s, that's when the last time we had the big drop in silver and gold, because everybody was chasing that stuff and it crashed immediately in 1980. Now, what's the other stuff that happened? 1987. 1987 was, I think, we had the first modern crash of the stock market. So since the Great Depression, it wiped out 20-something% in a day, Black Monday, in the Dow Jones. Okay. Now, 1998, if you remember, there was a collapse in one of those banking firms. This collapse set the stage for the dot-com bubble that happened 2 years later. Okay. So that's what's going to happen here in 1998. Now, what happened in 2011? 2011, we had a downgrade in the U.S. ratings from Moody's. We were triple A or double A plus. We went down to double A or triple A. I don't remember which one. And this was during the first big government shutdown. So after this point, we always had big shutdowns between Republicans and Democrats. They would never agree and would always have shutdowns and argue and stuff. So after 2011, this was always happening. 2020, you remember COVID. Okay, so this is happening again. What does that mean? That means this is a predictor of something that possibly is going to happen. Next week, we will have Japanese elections. We will have a big change in the yen next week, and this will affect everyone else. So look back at my other streams. I talk endlessly about the yen, the yields of the JGBs, the Japanese government bonds, stuff like that, and how that will affect us as we move ahead. So next week, yes, we will have elections for their parliament. So let's see what happens. If it's going to be hawkish, then we'll have a Japanese government that really wants to put the screws on China. And this will affect what China does with its currency and all that stuff, and how it deals with what it wants to buy. Also, China yesterday, overnight, halted trading in 5 silver and oil funds to limit risk amid volatility. So you can read this yourself. I put the link in the description. So they suspended trading on 5 commodities. So crazy, right? And this was what started the drop. And I think what made it got worse was that Trump picked Matt Walsh, WARSH, as the next Fed chair coming in May. I wanted him to pick Rick Rieder. The poly markets, the betting markets were changing their mind and going with Rick Reeder, but then Trump just went back to the conventional choice. So this guy, it was a Fed governor, or is a Fed governor now. He's married to the heiress of Estee Lauder. I don't know if that matters. You can see if he has any Soros connections. So look him up. Probably a lot of stuff. And so that's probably made the crash worse, because he's not as dovish as Rick Reeder would have been. Rick Reeder would have done a lot of cocaine, and he would have just like let the printer rip, and we would just had fun, okay, all day, every day, and the markets would have went up. But he didn't pick that. So that's probably what made gold and silver just go down, because the foreigners probably were like, oh, you're just picking someone that we understand, not some crazy guy, then we don't need to hide in gold and silver anymore. Let's pull out now. That's probably what happened too. So anyhow, all this stuff happened all together, and we had issues. Okay, that's it for that. Let's see what's the earnings next week. Next week earnings. Palantir. Do I short it again? I don't know. I guess I'll wait for earnings and see what happens Tuesday. NXPI, very important semiconductor from Europe, semiconductor company. Fabrinet optical company might be important, might not be important. Teradyne, I think they test semiconductor chips, so testing company. Then on Tuesday, we got PayPal, Merck, Pfizer, a lot of like Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly on Wednesday morning. So that'll be like Ozempic and Wegovy. And then what else? Thursday, we ConocoPhillips. Okay, that'll be important for seeing how Venezuela does. And we had earnings on Exxon and Chevron today, but all the gold and silver stuff was more important, I guess. Nobody cared about oil. So nothing happened. So we have CMEX. So I got my Mexican cement. I want to see this one do good. Mexican stocks took a dive because of the silver and gold. So Mexican stocks did track silver and gold pretty well. So there is a tie there. We also have Estee Lauder. So the heiress of Estee Lauder is going to be worried about that. So we're going to have a new Fed chair that will care about Estee Lauder too. And what else we have? Okay, the big boys. What are the big boys next week? AMD, Google, Amazon. So Tuesday after the close, AMD. Wednesday after the close, Google. Thursday after the close, Amazon. So each day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we will have big earnings for those three. We'll also have Qualcomm and ARM on Wednesday. So those will be pretty significant semiconductor stocks. So that means Wednesday will probably be the biggest effect on the semiconductors ETF. We also have O'Reilly. I like O'Reilly. Auto parts stock is really good, but it hasn't been doing good last year. I haven't been paying attention. I don't know if it'll continue or we're going to roll over. So I'll watch to see if I want to get back on auto parts stock. Snapchat might be important. Coherent is an important optical company. So that's Wednesday. And then we have Lumentum, also important. That'll be Tuesday, though. Reddit, Roblox, MicroStrategy. So if you guys actually care about Zoomer stuff, then those three will be the ones you'll be watching Thursday. Roblox, Reddit. Reddit's still doing good. I don't know if you want to short Reddit. Reddit, go ahead. Maybe it's a good time to do it. You might get a good short on that one before earnings. All right, let's read this stuff. Okay, Elon Musk, SpaceX said to consider a merger with Tesla or XAI. Okay, so we got that going. According to people familiar with the matter, billionaire Elon Musk weighing how to consolidate his empire. The firm has discussed the feasibility of a tie-up between SpaceX and Tesla, an idea that some investors are pushing, the people said, asking not to be identified as the information isn't public. Separately, they are also exploring a tie-up between SpaceX and XAI before IPO. Any transaction could attract sizable interest from infrastructure funds and Middle Eastern sovereign investors, of course. Some other people said the deal could be potentially requiring a large financial component. No shit. All right, whatever. That's enough of that. I hate when they just repeat the stuff that people should already know. Like, I don't want to keep reading the same sentence again and again. Okay, let me give you this tweet here. How about this? I think this is from this guy. Okay, let me put this one up. Come on, hurry up. Oh man, I went into like all my memories probably loaded. Okay, before I'll let it load in the background. Let me read this one. Amphenol dives. So this was in the middle of the week. Okay, so this is what happened on Wednesday, just before Celestica. Both of these have information on how much the data center is still growing. Okay, Amphenol plunged after an earnings call raised concerns of slowing growth. Meanwhile, Celestica, another data center supplier, reports after Wednesday's close. So both of these together. The maker of fiber optic cables, high-speed connectors, and other hardware used in data centers beat analyst expectations for the fourth quarter, but 2026 guidance failed to satisfy investors. So that's one reason you had a big move on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. One of those, just before Powell was speaking. Amphenol earnings jumped 76% versus a year earlier to 97 cents. Amphenol is APH. That's the symbol ticker. Okay, if you want to look it up, I think it's on the NASDAQ. A share, while revenue grew 49% to $6.44 billion. Analysts had forecast earnings per share of 93 cents on $6.2 billion in sales. The company guided to first quarter sales of $6.9 billion to $7 billion, up 45%, and above FactSec estimates of 6.55. Why is it down? So this is all like opinion, right? Why did it go down though, if it was so good? All right. Amphenol is trading lower pre-market on what we believe are concerns of an implied deceleration in organic sales in Q1, and perhaps lower. Organic sales means like, okay, these guys just bought a company and they ate it, and that company boosted their numbers. That's what they're basically saying. They're saying that like their own sales before buying out this other company up here. I didn't read this paragraph, but whatever, you can read it yourself. That means they're worried that the data center growth is slowing. Okay, does that mean like they're losing business to something else or whatever? Yeah, it could be, whatever. But Amphenol is a pretty big cable maker, so they make all the cables that go between everything in the data center and base stations, cell networks. Okay, so let me read this one. This is what happened the day after. Celestica cruises past estimates with Q4 results as revenue jumps 43%. So this seems like a similar story to Amphenol, but what happened after that? It crashed 13% during the day. So these things had a very good earnings, blah, blah, blah. So driven by very strong results in 2025 and improved momentum in 2026, we are pleased to be raising our annual outlook. As demand for AI-related data center technologies continues to strengthen, we now expect revenue of $17 billion, adjusted EPS earnings per share of $8.75 for 2026. Okay, that wasn't good enough for Wall Street. Wall Street just crashed that bitch. So it went down 13%. Okay. So I think this is both this and Amphenol together made the NASDAQ drop almost 2%, I think, on Wednesday. So we're at the point where unless you give blowout guidance, the market is going to puke easy. So we have a very weak stomach right now in the market. It's going to be very easy for someone to push things down. If this is what happens. If we are below the gamma flip line, okay? So if the S&P 500 is below 6,918, remember that number, this line, at any point next week, it's very easy for shorts to short. That means sellers will beget more selling, okay? The people that are selling the shares will sell more shares and will dump fast. Now, if we stay above it, and ideally, the S&P 500 will stay above like 7,000 next week. And we kind of hover around between this and 7,160. We'll be okay. Ideally, the bulls want this to get to 7,300 by the end of the quarter. Okay, what's up, Gobbity? Okay, that's it. Okay, this thing finally loaded. Elon is playing 4D chess. Here's why. XAI owns X. Tesla invests $2 billion in XAI. XAI merges with SpaceX. Combine SpaceX IPOs, so target 2026 with a $1.5 trillion I guess, market cap. Tesla benefits indirectly via XAI stake appreciation. Tesla then does Ford merger, absorbs SpaceX, stock for stock, okay. Elon's 42% SpaceX plus 49% XAI converts push him, oh man, proofread this, please. Greater than 25% in combined Tesla ownership. Okay, so he's using this to get back his chairman position in Tesla or something. I don't know. Is this what he's doing? Some 10D chess here. Elon hits his voting target, consolidates all organization under one ticker, regardless of compensation package outcome. So I guess this guy thinks Elon's doing all this just to become king of Tesla again. All right. Because you have to remember, he gave up his chairman position after the SEC started saying, "Hey, bro, you're tweeting too much and pumping your stock. You can't do that." Anyhow, all right, let's get back to here. Okay, now, if you remember, silver to gold ratio. You remember these dates, right? Well, I got another one. Last night, I showed you Samantha LeDuc's video. And she gave her list of things that are interesting when gold is up 28%, best month in 46 years. So every time gold has a very good monthly return, big things starts happening, right? So the big one was Iranian Revolution, Soviet-Afghan War. So that lines up with this, 1979. Geopolitical tensions, 2026, which is what we're happening right now, 28.74%. I don't know, people were saying like we're going to invade Iran like Sunday or something. If or somebody's gonna fire something at them. I don't know, whatever. If that happens and silver starts pumping again, then this would have been the biggest fake out of all time. So if silver and gold starts pumping Sunday afternoon because something happened over the weekend, then yeah, that'll be interesting. Futures, remember, futures opens Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So set your clocks for 6 p.m. So if something does happen over the weekend and those things start pumping, get ready for some fun trading next week. All right, anything else? Let's see. Iran-Iraq War in 1980. So that's probably what happened there. So that matches with the 1980 area here where we had this huge drop in recovery in the ratio just after 1979. Let's see what else. 82 Latin American debt crisis. 78 Iranian Revolution starts. So 78 again, that lines up with those. 1999 dot-com bubble. Yeah, we already know that. 1985 US dollar weakens. Okay, 1985. I don't think that was on the list. 83 post-recession recovery. 1978 market volatility. Okay. So yeah, we're definitely we'll be on the watch for something to happen, okay, in the coming days. All right, that's it. Done. All right. So back to this chart. So silver to gold. Now, the DeMark indicators with the D wave said that it projected this level. And this was from COVID when we had the lowest silver to gold ratio because silver was not performing well versus gold. Gold was outperforming it. And now we're at the opposite end here where silver is outperforming gold. Now we got a lot of 13 counts up here. We got a C3. So it's not a C5 though. So there's a chance this thing stabilizes. So if nothing happens over the weekend, we should go sideways for a bit. And then finally we'll start going up again where silver will go rocket to the moon for another time. So that's what I'm waiting for. Is this going to continue at a later date, some months down the line? If that's the case, then we can be patient and wait for it. Otherwise, again, you should just trade it. But this could all be reversed over the weekend. Who knows? This could be a fake out. But from what I see here, be prepared because maybe this is over. Maybe next week, after Japanese elections and after all the earnings, maybe this done. Silver will just crash all the way down again. and go back to 40 or whatever it's supposed to be. Okay, and we'll have to wait maybe a year plus, maybe a couple years. It's not going to be a month, waiting a few months, and then this thing will continue. No, this will be like you have to wait a year, 2 years, possibly. Okay, that's it. All right, hopefully you guys got that. Anything else? Nothing. I think we're done. Finished. Good. 37 minutes. All right. So what's up? What's the new things? I'm gonna play this video from Samantha. Okay, first. Let's see what we got here. I haven't watched
this short clip is from my live trading room. You can engage directly with my fabulous team and me at leduketrading.com for all our research and trades. Or for just my daily live streams, you can access via YouTube memberships. All links are in the description. What is impacting the market, of course, is the dollar yen and the drama that took place on Friday. So maybe I can help explain a wee little bit that this was, in fact, a big drama. You can see it here about noon, 1 o'clock, while Japan slept, and a lot of their yen currency traders were unaware of what was going on because it was the middle of the night, Saturday in Japan, obviously not a market day. So were whispers of Treasury, potentially Fed 2, asking about the price of the rate of the dollar yen, basically the rate check. Now, they didn't do anything. There was no intervention, and there's lots of suspicion about whether or not the MOF in Japan did a yen intervention, or if it was just the talking it down as it approached 160, which I warned is absolutely where they want to intervene. Everyone knows that. That's kind of the easy part. But then also the fact that the Treasury apparently asked for a rate check, the Fed of New York, and this is what implied potential intervention. So again, it's a talk. It's just a rumor. It's not real. There was no real intervention, but there was the threat of potential intervention. Anyway, you had a very large expansion bar here on the dollar yen, and it moved quickly down into 156. The more important for me anyway is that it closed below the 10-week. And then, of course, this week on a Sunday night, we had a follow through. The dollar yen went from a high of 159.45, almost at 160, into a very sharp evening star reversal, broke through this 157 area, through the 10-week on a close, gapped down on a Sunday, and we're coming into support. Basically, it closed in this 155.8 area, and then it hit a low of 153.3, which happens to be, look at that weekly support. So now you're in a channel. Now, I know a lot of folks are freaked out about this because, one, it's a big move of size standard deviation, and in the past, yen carry trade has meant interruption to the bullish market in the US. So NDX takes a hit, et cetera, et cetera. But I want to show you a few things on this and why I'm, let's just say, suspicious. So we knew, I'm going to use FXY as a proxy because it's easier than the 0.0666, whatever. So anyway, we've got this support here, and it's 58.25. It got a little outside, came back in the morning star reversal, which can be a trend reversal formation if, one, I know that Besant does not want to tank the US market. And why would intervention in the yen cause that? Because the dollar would tank. Now, it's one thing, and you know I'm very dollar bearish, but it's one thing to have a feature where the dollar falls. That's not a bug, but it's the rate of change that matters. And he does not want the dollar to crash, even though it might seem like it with all the events this weekend. There's no question. And last weekend with all that EU bashing by Trump, which is spurring Germany to request their gold to come home, for pension funds to lighten up on their hoarding of dollars and their threat of selling of treasuries, which again, they will not do. It will tank their economy. But pension funds and hedge funds can, not central banks so easily in Europe, but definitely other funds. And they've already intonated they're going to do that. Sweden, there's a few that have come out and said, nope, we're done with treasuries. We're going to sell our 100 million value worth, where they have like a $6 billion fund. So again, it's not a big hit, but it is a bad trend for the US, and the dollar will continue to fall. So I'm still very dollar bearish. There's no doubt in my mind. But the point is, with the dollar yen, this is not ready. And I really think that this will be an issue toward the end of the year. We could have a little follow through. You can kind of see pre-market FXY is 59.75. It's hitting this resistance area. Here's a trend line from the prior times. I can show you on a monthly real quick. The yen fell with the market in 2022, this FXY. We had a bounce higher in October 2022 before they came in with intervention in October. I'm putting it out a monthly just so you can see these little blips. They had another one which was very brief in November of 2023 before the market ripped higher in the US. Remember 2024, 2025? Actually, all 3 years, 23, 24, and 25. Anyway, you've got the one that I timed with precision in July of 2024, lasted for 1 month. And then most recently, we had the pullback at the beginning of the year when Trump came in after inauguration, and we had DeepSeek, and we had also the fall in equities and the rise in yen for repatriation. Money goes home because of the trade wars and the tariffs. All right, so all of that is right back down into this kind of low. So a little oversold bounce wouldn't surprise, but I'm doing this on a monthly for a reason. This is in a protracted downtrend. Yen is a political instrument. It doesn't look to me at all like it's ready. It hasn't even based yet. This is a few months away, like potentially 6 to 9 months away. Now, maybe I'm going to be off a little bit of my read here as it relates to follow through, but you can even see the 10 and 21 hasn't crossed over yet. So we did have a big surge, and we've got a little overshoot here into this 59.87 resistance zone, where I think it's going to get tapped down about 60.5 for FXY. And basically, I don't think it's going to be the repatriation of yen back home. I think they've already been repatriating into gold. And just to kind of remind, the dollar yen right now is on a kind of support, and it could be a little tussle here before it really gets any trend removal vibe going. In other words, we've got a pronounced Friday, Sunday, and here we are kind of Monday, digesting a little bit too much too soon on this dollar yen. But congratulations. I know that Alex chased this short because they usually last a few days, and he's right. And we're now on the 21 week. I can see where we can digest here, but I can also see where this can continue to fall and the markets not freak out. And that's what I wrote about. And that's the point I wanted to get across in this post that I did. It's my market thoughts. I just did it Friday. Okay, so now we've got this. This was pre-market, so now I've got the open. We're right here. Look at that, 21 day. Now look at the 10 and 21. This has some work to cross and move higher. So you know how I am about that 10 and 21. Plus you have a gap down of size. You broke the trend line. All we're doing is kind of bouncing where we have bounced before, but it's going to take, I think, a few more weeks before it's convincing. So to me, this is very impressive. Up to the 100-day FXY, up to the basically, what was the high? 59.83. Let's call it 60. But I don't think it's going to be so easy to get above. Not yet. I think we're going to come back down. This has to be more convincing to me. I think we can have a bounce, but I don't see a trend reversal for many months. I would bet it doesn't happen until the end of the year. I know that shocks, but you know, all my funky stuff that I do is just showing it's just not ready. There's no pattern here. I think it's going to take until the end of the year for a scary yen carry trade unwind redux.
All right, so Samantha thinks it'll take until the end of the year for anything crazy to happen. That's interesting. I do think there's going to be a big crash in the markets in 2027. So I think anything huge is probably delayed. I think we will get volatility in the coming months into May. All right. But it's just temporary. The big stir up will be probably sometime 2027. But there's enough noise out in the news to create issues for investors for the rest of the year. And that's why this year is good for trading. Last year, you didn't need to trade much. You just bought the dip in April and just rode everything up. So that's why I didn't need to stream it last year, really. It was so easy. You just close your brain, man. You just shut it down. Why you need to like overanalyze everything? Just buy. Everything goes up. Silver goes up. Copper goes up. Uranium goes up. Dollar goes down, but hey, stock market goes up. Who cares? Anyhow, very few things went sideways to down, right? Very few things. Oil was one of them. Very disappointing, oil, but I don't think you would choose all kinds of losers on that case. It should have been easy. Now, how is the yen doing now? So today we see dollar recovered versus the yen. So the yen has weakened. We are now $154.75 yen to the dollar. Okay. Will it recover all the way back here before continuing down? I don't know. We'll have to wait for elections next week. Or maybe there's going to be some war or something. It'll scare everything out. But this is one of the reasons why silver and gold did what it did, because these things affect it. Dollar, yuan will affect it too. But I don't think anything happened here. I don't think there was anything major that happened here. No, I don't think so. I don't know. I can't read the currency stuff anyway, because like sometimes you look at this stuff and it's like, oh, that's barely any change. But you know, a small change in currency is actually like a big deal. So I can't. Yeah, I don't know if this is like a big deal here. How about the Japanese bond yields? Nothing was flat. So I think it was mostly this right here, dollar yen 1% move. So that's a big one. Dixie went up 1% as a result, I guess. So the euro probably moved about the same, euro to dollar. Okay, so that's another reason why things went sour for silver and gold. Okay, because like Samantha said, it's the rate of change that matters. It's like the suddenness of the change. It's not actually the change itself. It's how shocking the change is, which causes people to have to readjust everything in their portfolios. You have to remember, these are big amounts of money are floating around the world, requiring certain things to be tuned correctly. Okay. Trump recently spoke about U.S. steel manufacturing outpacing Japan for the first time in decades. Yeah, steel's good. So a lot of material stocks, you know, we had two of them report on Monday. Steel Dynamics, okay, and Nucor. So though I think Nucor is the big one. Okay. I know that like there's some other ones, but let's see. Aluminum AA Alcoa is something to watch as well. So it hasn't done well after its earnings last week. I don't know if it's going to stabilize here. If it does, I'll be interested in this one. Okay. Aluminum is very good when there's war. So if you predict war is going to happen, aluminum demand really skyrockets. Okay, they have to build a lot of weaponry and machinery and things like that, and it's always usually aluminum in them. So yeah, aluminum very important for war. So if you see aluminum spike, be warned. That means war is coming. That's another thing you can look at. All right, anything else? No, I'm good. I'm done with this. All right, that's it. We will see you another time, but before I leave, let's do an update on the whole Thorpe's Jeremy saga. Let me do a quick update. I got like 10 minutes before the end of the hour. Let's do something here. Let me show you something. See if I can play it even. All right, here we go. I think this will be funny. This will be funny.
There's a girl who was kidnapped. She was kidnapped for like 6-7 months, maybe 7 months. Yeah, similar to Elizabeth Smart.
Jeremy doesn't have enough charisma to persuade a toad to be part of his entourage. You know?
Yeah. I mean, there was a girl who was kidnapped for 7 months in a storage shed, raped, yada, yada, yada. As soon as she got out, the only reason she didn't report the guy is because he lived nearby, so she was scared he would kill their family. But once they told her, like, that's not going to happen, she instantly told them who he was, where he lived, because he told her his name. She wasn't
it's a different
brainwashed.
thing. Yeah.
She, you know, and he.
She may have some feelings for him if she watched him, like, executed. She might feel like, you know, he was inside of me or whatever. Okay, a little bit. But that's it. There's no such thing as, like, sex being like magical.
No. Welcome, Jeremy.
I think we should actually consider banning him from the chat.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Because you need to get a W over this guy.
That is true. That's why the stream is titled "Am I Headed to Mount Hope Bridge Tonight?" Because Jeremy took a W over me.
You need to
earlier
fucking
stream.
put him beneath you.
Jer, do you recognize this? I have a proposition for you. You come on stream and you tell the truth about how much work you did and how ready you were for work.
All right. Just to remind you folks, the Thorpes took Jeremy's wallet and a gifted laptop. So not his old laptop that he had. He was gifted a better laptop, and the Thorpes took that out of his car. Okay. The car he was sleeping in outside the Thorpes' house while there was a blizzard going on because Grace texted him 3 a.m. and he took that as an invitation, all right, to go there. Anyhow, and he slept there for like 30 some odd hours in the cold, and the Thorpes didn't let him in. So I have no clue what's going on. He went to the hospital, cops got called, blah blah blah. This is the stalker arc, all right. This was like what? I don't even remember which week it was. This thing happened so many damn days. I don't even know the timeline anymore, really. But yeah, they took his shit, and now Grace is holding that stuff, I guess, hostage.
Work when you were over here. If you don't tell the truth, I get a pair of tongs, and I hold this wallet over my stovetop. And every time you start lying, the wallet goes closer and closer to the flames. If you don't call in at all, I put it right on top of the burner. Your thoughts? Hit the link. Because you claimed on stream
First,
today...
we need to see that this is going to happen. Go ahead.
Okay.
We need to see that this is not just talk.
Hold on a second. Okay.
He's here.
Oh, it worked.
You guys
Hello,
sound
Jeremy.
afraid of me. You guys are like scared of me, comparing me to a serial killer, a rapist, some extremist. I think you're
No,
afraid
Jeremy,
of me.
we're
You're
not
afraid I'm going to call the cops.
We're not comparing you to Brian Mitchell. We're saying Brian Mitchell is way cooler and more of a man than you are. A pedophile, basically. Who kidnapped
Are you afraid I'm going
a
to call the cops?
14-year-old
What is
girl
this
and
all
raped
about?
her against her
Is
will.
this because I didn't help you clean out your garage?
No, Jeremy, this is not because of any of that. This is because you came on stream today and you claimed, after squatting on my property for 38 hours drunk, that you showed up every day ready to
I
work
wasn't
and that
squatting.
I was the
I
problem.
was absolutely.
Can you explain that?
You admitted to it. You agreed on your stream that you were the problem because you slept until 3 every day.
Yeah, but
I
not
was
with
ready to go
you.
in the morning.
Not with you. With my dad, sure. With you, I am not the problem. You were the problem. You
you said
sat
you
on
were
my
the problem.
property for
Now
38
you're
hours
right.
shitting and pissing in your own car, drunk.
Shit in my car. What are you talking about?
Well, where did you?
I went to McDonald's and Planet Fitness. I wasn't drunk the entire
Okay,
time.
so you spent 38 hours pissing yourself in your own car,
I did
drinking,
some pissing.
so drunk you couldn't remember Jacinda bringing you Tupperware, which I hope you returned, by the way. Otherwise,
I
she should
did.
call the cops on you.
I left the Tupperware on the stairs.
Did you leave gifts for her?
No, I didn't come back.
Oh, okay. So
I
you
left,
scammed
remember?
that too. You
I didn't make any donations for
you didn't
that.
get the candy and the flowers for Jacinda. Yeah, we're all
I didn't make
shocked.
any donations for that, and I didn't want to come back too. The
Right,
snow,
yeah.
it was
No, no.
sketchy.
No. Somebody's showing more
Oh.
kindness to you than you've received in your entire life when you were at probably the lowest moment of your
boo
life.
fucking who.
Doesn't deserve anything. Yeah, no, I agree. So, I just want to
You
hear
are
the
so
truth from
ungrateful. I came up, I drove you guys back to Rhode Island. I kind of went along with all your
you.
bullshit.
Good point, Anon J. Yeah, when did you go to McDonald's? You were out back during the snowstorm. Out front, actually. For 38
Snowstorm
hours
was
straight.
one
The
night.
car didn't move.
The snowstorm was one night.
Yeah, but you were there from 9 a.m. on Monday morning, I believe, to 8 p.m.
How would you know that? You wake up at 3 p.m.
Because you told me that's when you got there, and you texted me from your car.
This is when I got there.
Yeah, you said you got there at 9 a.m. You said I'm here at like 9:20 a.m.
All right. So you kind of get the background a little bit more. All right, let's speed it up to, or go forward a little bit. Let me try to see if I get to the part where Ben starts screaming at him or some shit.
Yeah, maybe to the bathroom. You were not
trying-
ready to do
You're trying
anything.
too hard.
I
Grace.
went out and talked to you and said, "Can we talk at Dudek Lanes?" You said, "I'll talk once I'm in the RV." You were clearly
You think I'm gonna
shit-faced.
call the
And
cops
then I had to
on
call
you?
the cops on you like 5 hours later. And then you went to the hospital because you had heart palpitations.
Yeah, it's scary. Heart palpitations suck.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. When your heart's
Everybody
racing
gets
so much.
heart palpitations.
No, they don't.
It doesn't mean anything. It just means you're being gay.
Yeah.
So, I just
I
want
don't
to
care.
clarify. After all that, 38 hours, drinking, pissing in your car, going to the hospital for heart palpitations, you want to make the argument to me that you were ready to go every day and that I was the problem.
Yo,
Is
what's
that right?
up? What's up,
Yeah.
Master Kim?
Okay. Well, you're lying. I don't know how else to say it to you.
I was ready to go every day.
Were
Even
you
when I
ready
was
to go the
sleeping in
morning
my
that you
car.
woke up drunk?
Let's take a
In the
step back.
blizzard?
Yeah.
Let's take a step back.
Yeah, if you give me a
Jeremy,
little time to wake up.
Were you ready to go at John Galt's?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I did a lot of
Did
good
you work
there.
hard there?
Yeah, I did. I think he'll tell you that
Would
I
he
did.
say that?
I think he would, yeah.
No, he would not. I've heard him talk about it.
I don't think so.
I am
I
going
had
to...
one...
When you were
that
wait,
one
let
time
me ask you a
when he
simple
crashed
question about
out on
working.
me,
When
he was
Grace
drunk
came and
passed
visited
out on
you,
me.
when
content.
Grace came and visited you in Seattle, were you working on the house that you were both in?
No, we were doing more streaming and hanging out.
She actually didn't want to hang out with you very much, and she lied that she said a
He
headache
asked
to
me
get
to
away
stream
from
that
you.
night.
Why
And
did
then
you
you
do
wanted-
work?
And then
What
you
did
told
you
me to
do?
take her- You
What
told
did
me
you
to
do?
take her to Mount
What
Rainier.
did she?
Hold
what
on
did
a
she-
second.
What did she? What did you do when she told you basically like fuck off? I don't want to like be in the same room as you. What did you do?
She didn't say... You mean what, when she left?
No, when she said like I have a headache.
Oh, the migraine
Thank-
thing. Yeah, she faked a
Yeah.
migraine.
Yes, to get rid of you, right? And so what did you do then?
I took her back to my place.
No,
and
when
took a
while
nap.
she was in the room.
When I was in the room,
Okay, and she's basically telling you for whatever reason she tried to make an excuse,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, like she's
Well, I'm
saying like
supposed to
get the fuck
interpret
out of
that
here.
as-
What did you do? I'm not just saying. What did you do then? What did you do then?
yeah, what did you do?
She said she had to go, rest for 30 minutes. So I just hung out.
No,
she
Jeremy,
didn't
you're
say
not.
that.
There, I
She
was
told
at your
you
place.
basically
No, hang on, Dad. Let me
ain't
take this.
happening. Go ahead.
I was at your place for 2 or 3 days. I was mostly sitting in the bedroom, sleeping and resting. During those times, during those 2 or 3 days, what were you doing?
I was doing my own thing.
What was
cooking
your own
food.
thing?
Cooking food.
You were cooking
Watching
food for 2 or
TV.
3 days? That's right. You were watching TV.
Well,
You
chill.
said that you were there working on your brother's property. I saw you do
I don't care.
zero
What does this have
work.
to do with anything?
So let me give you some more background. I've heard this from different like retellings of this story by Grace and Jeremy. Like every time they retell the same story, when Jeremy offered Grace to stay at his place in Seattle when Grace ran away from Darius and his crew in LA. Okay, Darius and his crew were in LA. Grace went over there to meet up with them, do IRL stuff. She got spooked. She got scared. Whatever. I think I've seen a clip where Darius forced a kiss on Grace in a In-N-Out bathroom. Like, there's a clip out there. You can try to find it. It's still on YouTube, I think. I was not there for that arc. I only got into the watching the Thorpes way later. So this was like what, probably the early days. Really, the very first Thorpe IRL stuff. So she runs away. She gets a flight, runs off to Seattle. Stays at his place. I have no idea why she just didn't fly back directly. Or she got a ride. I don't think she got a ride from anybody to drive all the way up to dang Seattle. That's crazy. That's a long ass ride. But anyway, she got there. She crashes in Jeremy's, sleeps there for like, I don't know, a couple days. And apparently, yeah, Jeremy's just there trying to make her watch like Monty Python or some other crap. It's like, what? Something like that. So anyway, I guess she's sick of it. You know, once Grace gets tired of a dude, she'll get tired of you real quickly, I think, and if you piss her off. So she's trying to find ways to get out of it. So this is what they're discussing.
You sat on the couch.
When you have the opportunity,
the sheet into my
when
room
you have the opportunity and
watch
you're
TV.
being given a situation, a housing situation, as you call it, you reciprocate by doing nothing, which is why your brother got rid of you, your parents got rid of you, Galt got rid of you, and we got rid of you. Who hasn't gotten rid of you? The people in New Orleans
Nobody's
certainly got rid of you, didn't they?
Oh, I quit that job.
Do you think they shed tears about it?
John Galt didn't get rid of me. I quit that job too.
No, you didn't. You're not even man enough to quit a job. You just walk away, right?
No, I told them that I was going up to help you guys.
Is that quitting a job?
It kind of turned into quitting a job.
Right.
Yeah.
And this goes to the point of this one thing that you can hold up.
That's
You gave us a ride.
Streaming.
Where were you going?
The Seattle
When you give us a
Bakery
ride,
didn't get rid of me
some
either.
retard in chat goes, Jeremy dropped everything to help give you a ride. You didn't drop shit to give us a
I
ride.
was working.
You didn't drop shit.
You weren't working.
You weren't
You
doing
guys are
anything.
just dishonest.
And
you guys
you
are really dishonest.
You
You're afraid I'm going to call the cops.
wanted
Hold on a second.
to give us a ride because you're lonely and you're a loser on the road by yourself. I mean, that's not
it's
actually
nonsense.
charity. That's just
getting over
being
100
a loser
viewers
who
now.
wants company.
And Grace
If
just
you
said,
pick-
I got a win over here.
If you're lonely
did,
on the
unfortunately.
road, if you're lonely
But now
on the road,
I'm taking
and
that
there's
back.
a hitchhiker who looks attractive to you and you pick up that hitchhiker, are you doing the hitchhiker a favor, or is it more like you want to do it?
Oh, here you
That's a
go.
stupid
Kenzie says
question.
GetCrack said Galt is done with him. Yeah, so Galt rejected
You're not
you
welcome back at John Galt's. What does that tell you about how much work you did? He gets up early in the morning.
I didn't have
I
to
know
go
an
back
old
there.
dude like that. He gets up in the morning, right?
This
He
is
gets up in the
irrelevant.
morning. You had plenty of shit to do. You didn't do it.
Yes, I did, actually.
You didn't do it. Now
No,
you're
you
running
didn't.
back
called
to
me
your.
every
You're
morning.
running back to your fucking mother. Your fucking
called
mother.
me
You're gonna beg
every
your
morning
mother's
with a plan.
your mother's second husband and jeopardize her relationship with him.
So it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work for me to side with the Thorpes. You have to be a really fucked up for me to agree with the Thorpes and also feel sympathy for the Thorpes. It's like, damn, bruh. You really screwed up this arc, bruh. You made yourself look way bad. Because if people are siding with the Thorpes and even feel sympathy for the Thorpes, even though every criticism Ben dishes out to Jeremy is exactly a criticism on himself. Both Jeremy and Ben are like mirrors, and they just have criticism for each other that they can apply to themselves. It's like an endless feedback loop at this point if they keep going at each other. Anyway, let me skip to the good juicy part here. Where's the
Stuff.
burning? All right, here we go. Right here. Let's burn that wall.
Childish.
Let's burn this wallet.
Simple question for you.
This is how desperate you are for a win.
Are you a hard worker?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a hard worker?
It's so childish. It's so childish.
Are you a hard worker?
You're giving me a win right now.
Are you a hard worker?
You're giving me a win.
Are you a hard worker?
What is this like mommy dommy bullshit? Go ahead, burn the wallet. Give me the win.
How is burning your wallet giving you a win?
You know exactly how it gives me a win.
How does it give you a win?
Go ahead.
Are you a hard worker, Jeremy?
Yes, I am.
Are you a hard
So
worker,
childish.
Jeremy?
It's so childish.
Are you a hard worker?
You think this is a win for you?
Are you a hard worker,
After you
Jeremy?
admit that I got a win over you, this is how you
Are you a hard
fight back.
worker, Jeremy?
This is how you fight back.
Are you a hard worker, Jeremy?
This is how you fight back.
Jer? Are you a hard worker, Jeremy?
Give me the content. Go for it. Give me the content.
Just the truth. All this will end with the truth.
Is Ben telling you to do this nonsense?
Are you a hard
Childish.
worker?
You're being childish.
Are you? There goes your ID. I could blow it out. Just answer the question honestly.
No, go ahead, burn it. Show everybody how much of a child you are.
You'd rather I burn your wallet than that you
I'm not
answer
gonna
a question
lie.
honestly.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna give into this nonsense.
Well, it's gonna take a while for you to get a new license.
It's fine. Go ahead, look like a child.
Okay.
Other people will cover it, and then I gotta go explain what was going on. And you're gonna come off as a loser.
All right, guys. I could continue this some other time. I gotta go get my pizza. I want to get some pizza right now. It's Friday night. I am craving pizza. I gotta go get it. Yeah, 8:24 my time, West Coast. I'll see you guys. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday. I don't know. We gotta get to it. But hope you enjoyed. Little quick summary of what's going on. Salute. See ya.